Hi, and welcome to my summary of research on using social media in the classroom. My name is Megan Martinez. I'm going to take us today through some of the various social media purposes and theory. Okay. First, I'd like to start with setting the tone. There's two different methods of integrating social media that I found. One is integrating based on pedagogy, and the second is introducing social media in the classroom through practical use. McCarthy talks about social media integration being based on these theories versus using it just to cover technology requirement. I know a lot of instructors may feel anxious or pressure to integrate social media and up-and-coming technologies into their curriculum every day. This is just to make sure that we're actually putting some theory behind this integration and not just throwing technology in there as an afterthought. The second part is from Cardon and Okra. They are business communication professors at the University of South Carolina and Howard, and they look at three fundamental questions that they ask themselves before adopting communication technologies in their classroom. So this would definitely apply through in higher education, not through K through 12. The three questions that they ask are: does our emphasis on various communication technologies in the classroom mirror the use of those technologies used in the workplace? So they look at research on are we using email in the workplace versus the studies that indicate that students do not use email in educational environments. So should we really be teaching email communication versus using something like Twitter? Essentially it boils down to the question is, are they for practical use later? Is this relevant to what we're teaching? The second question that they ask is, do the technologies we adopt in the classroom mirror those best classified as business communication and help the field retain a unique identity? The way I sum up this question is this technology in my subject area or field? The authors give the example of using a marketing method of communication in their business communication class, and how this might muddle the identity of that specific subject or field. So making sure that if you teach mathematics, that the technology you're using is actually used in mathematics or demonstrates mathematics best practices versus using a tool that may be better suited for criminal justice. The third question that the authors ask is, does the use of technology in the classroom complement and encourage rich face-to-face communication? This goes along with the theory that face-to-face communication is better, that it is essential for the workplace, and that we're gearing our students for the workplace, and is kind of turning on to some of the research that indicates that too much social media or heavily investment in social media may actually create anxieties between students and facing the real world, especially in environments like Second Life, which is a kind of a virtual reality where you can actually become something else. So does this technology complement that activity of creating the face-to-face environment mimicked in the workplace? So those are the two different tones when looking at integrating. So the next part is putting social media into action. We want to choose a tool and develop a strategy. One of those is Ronaldo et al. Explore the use of Twitter in the classroom, being supported by theories of Kolb's model of experiential learning and Chicory's student development theory and best practices. So that's more of that pedagogic approach. The other way that we can put social media into action is don't be afraid to choose a familiar source or even explore a new one. One thing that was cool about the Ronaldo study was that the instructor had limited familiarity with Twitter. And then in the Yin study, the instructors indicated that in the survey of the students, they chose mediums that they were more familiar with, such as social videos, social networking. And both of those cases indicated positive results and promising practices. Especially in Ronaldo, they went on to look at that it was not necessarily the skill level beforehand, but it was how much they actually participated during the study. We'll move on. Benefits of using social media. Everybody says, why should we do this? Some studies have found that Twitter has been used to encourage the communication between professors and their peers. So just getting that combination and that interaction happening outside of the classroom, not always inside of the classroom. It may even, there's studies that indicate that students who are less likely to communicate in class are more likely to communicate using things like Twitter and Facebook. The study from the Ronaldo result was that the perceived benefit was higher for students who reported higher use of technology, supporting the model of experiential learning. And then the Yin study looked at the use of Web 2.0 tools, increasing the students' feeling of being members of a learning community. So once again, creating that community between each other as peers, the professors, getting that hands-on experience, feeling like they're engaged and involved, yielded positive results. And these are the references for this PowerPoint presentation and the research that was looked at. And most of these, they all came from peer-reviewed journals. So I hope that the next time you consider integrating social media in your curriculum, which I really hope you do, that you'll look at one of two approaches, the practical approach or the pedagogical approach. Thank you and have a good day.